All right, guys. So today, also first off, happy Wednesday, everyone. We made it halfway. Second off, I do have kind of like a new mic situation, and I'm hoping that it's not too loud. I'm using like a little Bluetooth mic, so there might be a slight delay, which I could fix later, but I figured we'd just go for it today. But let me guys like know if it's too loud or what, because then I can fix it. So that's kind of what I've got going, mic wise, setup wise. Also, if the music's too quiet, let me know and I can fix that too. But aside from like technically what we're doing today, what we're actually doing creatively is we are going to be working on this gouache painting of these cows out in the field and hopefully make a lot of progress on it. I think I mentioned this a couple streams back that I was gonna be working on it, and then I low-key stuck it in a drawer and tried to forget about it. Well, I wouldn't say I was trying to forget about it, but I wanted to forget about it just because I didn't get the drawing quite right. And I think I just kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna pull it out, fix the drawing. And I started like drawing, and then I was like, you know what? Maybe we just say frick that. And what we'll do is just jump right into painting it and pray that I'm able to kind of like refine the shapes through painting rather than trying to get this sketch perfect before we start painting on it. And so that's what we're gonna do. And gouache is like really forgiving in the sense where we can just, let me make sure. Okay, I can see everything here. Gouache is forgiving in the sense that we can just like layer things. Okay, I'm worried about my mic peaking too much. Let me, hold up guys. I think I need to put a compressor back on my mic. How's that sound? This should keep me, let me lower that threshold actually. I just don't want to end up like hurting somebody's ears. Okay, maybe, all right, I think if I put it down, I'd probably need it about here. Okay, that's 0. All right, we're gonna run with this. If I see my mics peaking in red, I'll try and fix it. But now if it sounds like it's too much, what do you guys, I don't know. I might have to, I know the other week Joe helped me set this up, which was really nice. Bum, bum, bum. So we might have to reach out to Joe. Where, chat, where'd I put my phone? I had it with me. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna need that too for the reference. I didn't set it there. Hold up, chat. We gotta go find our phone. I must have left it out in the kitchen. Or, all right, it's not there. All right, we are gonna be delayed by a little bit. Well, let me set this up and then I'll go look for it. All right, we got our water. I did work on this some this morning. As you can see, it's already got some paint down on the surface. Make sure you guys can see that all right. I think we need to straighten our camera out a little bit. And pull this a little bit closer. That should work. Unfortunately, I don't have the camera like high enough where you guys are gonna be able to see my color palette, but if I'm doing anything that's like too crazy, I'll just show you what I'm doing to explain. And we also have these in case we need them, but I think mostly I'll be working with the dried ones. That's what I was doing earlier. Well, it seemed to be doing fine just for now since we're kind of like, we're blocking in the values, so we're not too committed to anything just yet. All right, brushes, water, and try and keep the water away from my computer. Paper towels. All right, chat, I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab my phone. All right, we got our phone chat. Let's see if Joe's around and if he can tell us how the audio is sounding. If not, we're just gonna go with it. I was doing some like recording earlier in like OBS to test how it sounded and it seemed okay, but you know how it is. Like if it sounds good on my computer, it may not always sound good on other things, so and then we're gonna jump into painting. All right, let's pray Joe shows up for the sake of everybody who has to listen. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. I kind of was like working on the cows, kind of like blocking in their shape. But I think what we need to work on now, let me turn this a little bit. We need to work on, we need to work on the grass in the foreground, also the trees, and we need to decide like background wise, how we want to tackle that exactly. Let me pull up the reference here on my phone so I can show you guys kind of what we're dealing with. Oh, where did I put it? Oh, where? I think I favorited the image. All right, here we go. Actually not a great reference in terms of lighting. Let me show you guys. The clouds, like, it was like overcast, and so the sky just looks pretty much white, which we're gonna add some color to. There's really no defined clouds, which is also not fantastic. And then as you can see here, we're dealing with a lot of different shapes here. So that was a little difficult. That's gonna be our biggest struggle in here, trying to define like whose leg is where, whose head is where. And then for the tree, I think we're gonna do a lot of like negative space painting once we get towards the end with the lighter sky colors. So it's gonna look like a hot mess for a while, intentionally. And then also these background trees, like this tree line in the back here, I don't want it as dark as the image has it. I want it to be like the cows are our darkest subjects so that our eyes are drawn to them more. And so we're gonna have it dark, but we gotta make sure we balance it right so that it's not too dark. And then also this tree here is a lot darker in the photo. And again, that's like, I don't want it to be that dark because I want these guys to be our focus. And we have like pretty dark colors right here, and then the tree meets it in the back. And so to kind of like give us that depth, we're gonna have to lighten up the tree as well. So a lot of like trying to balance values is what we're gonna be struggling with today as we try to figure this out. But it's gonna be interesting. So let's just do it. Let me put, where do I want to put this for reference? I feel like no matter how big of a desk I have, I'm always running out of space. Okay. What should we start on first, chat? Maybe the grass. Or maybe let's work on the cows a little bit more. I just want to see if I can... You know what? I'm gonna move this. I'm low-key gonna be like drawing with my brush at this point, just as we're like redefining the shapes of the cows. And then we need to go in with some grass color. Kind of like reshape that out too. Okay, so the head of this lighter tan cow, we're seeing under the belly and then by the tail here, this other cow. Again, we don't have to have like, I don't think I'm gonna worry too much about like 100% accuracy because there's some room for interpretation. Try to put this foot in a little bit nicer here. Also, you may notice that like this cow has more blue to it. I'm using kind of like different colored like hues to kind of divide these cows a little more. So not only like through values will we divide like which cow's in front of the other one, we're also going to use some color theory to kind of like help keep them separated. So that's what we're doing there. So I have this one like blue, and then this one's gonna be like a darker warm red, and then this one, the very back's blue also. This one I think I'm gonna do like a mix because it doesn't really matter since she's out there. All right, what were we? Let's do more on the head, I think. Check our reference. These are really like, there was just like silhouettes. So I have to be careful that I'm not trying to like totally capture everything in that sense, where like maybe there will be like subtle details that I'm not gonna have that the image did have, because I do want to simplify it a little bit. I don't want to go too crazy. All right, let's work on shading a little in here, up by the tail. This cow's pretty. She's like multicolored kind of, but it's not like in patches. It like blends one shade into the other. All right, now we need a darker. We're gonna go into our blues. Darken this brown up to a more grayish shade. All right, I need to work on reshaping a little bit of this one cow here. Because he's taller and also standing forward more than the other cow. Kind of leaving that highlight there for the tail. I don't want to lose it yet, even though it will be darker in the end, but I don't want to lose that detail just yet, so I'm kind of reserving those highlights. Alright, now we do need to darken up a little bit here. I'm gonna add a tinge of warmth just to separate, because there is a little like brown up here on the back. The slope's not quite that much. And shade it here, here, and then we're actually seeing a bit of his head through here. Yo, your new mic sounds really good. Yo, thank you, Joe. Thank you for making sure everything sounds good. I'm just using like the little like Bluetooth ones that John got for Rose's wedding. Does everything sound like balanced nice though? Like the music, is it too loud or anything? I did have my headphones on to listen to the music, but I took them off. It was good earlier when I was recording, but I just want to make sure it's still, everything's still working. I want a little darker here. All right, let's darken up the baby cow in the front. Everything sounds balanced to me. Yo, let's go, chat. We actually did it. We did it on our own, and it actually sounded good. Joe, thank you for checking it out. Alright, let's do a little... I'm gonna use a little more red than actually what I'm seeing, just because I want to introduce some color into this, just to make it look a little bit nicer. Also, guys, little spoiler, I'm pretty sure tomorrow we're gonna be doing something a wee bit different than normal, and I'm actually gonna try and do a cooking stream. What we're gonna cook, I haven't 100% decided on, but whatever it is, I want to try something I haven't done before. That's the one thing. That's the one condition. Fix my camera there. Okay. So yeah, there's that chat. And I was like, I don't know, like, should I cook on stream? Because like I know everyone knows me as an artist, but then I was like, you know what, cooking is art. Now for this cow, what do we got going over here in the reference? I feel like I didn't do a very good job defining her face yet. There we go. Neck, and then this knee. I feel like drawing cows and horses are always so hard. Alright, let's add a little more blue into this. Like a purpley color here. She's like almost 100% just silhouette, even looking at the reference. So I don't even know if I want to bother trying to perfectly capture kind of like the definition of the legs and everything. I don't know, guys. I do have to admit, this drawing's kind of started out looking a little, how do I describe it? It looks like a child's painting, but I think I just need to like trust the process. I know we struggled a little when we did the chicken, and then it ended up turning out really cute. So I was like, all right, let's just do it. Let's just jump right in and paint, you know? So hopefully things keep working out. We're able to layer this in and it'll look good. Okay. Now for the back legs, it's kind of hard for me to tell. Like, look at this chat. I think this is the leg in front. I think so. I'm just gonna struggle our way through this one. Just try and paint like these silhouette shapes. The other leg kind of just comes straight down. And then this one's arced a little. And I also made it so like, you don't really see her tail. But I thought, I kind of want to be able to see the tail, so I had the tail come out. And hopefully it doesn't just look goofy. We might have to remove it if it does. Okay, that seems pretty good. Let's add a little bit of warmth up here in the shoulders. Let's work on this baby cow, I think. All right, we need a dark, warm brown color. Here's what we got going, chat. I'm thinking something like this. This looks cooler on camera than it does for me. As you guys can see, I'm very messy with my paints. My palette is always super... The paints often get contaminated into each other. That's why I think I struggle with not having the gouache like dried, because I'm always trying to like dip back into the paint, and then everything just kind of gets like mushed together. Oh, okay, I see what's happening here. Also, so there's a leg. This cow here, he's kind of like stepping like this, and so his hoof's gonna be under here. So we gotta add that, and then let's warm this up a little bit. A little water. Okay. This is tough because the leg here is kind of like blending in with the side of the face. So we're gonna get shoulder, that leg there, and then this one here, and then the belly, which we need to darken up a little. And then we got this back leg here, which I'm gonna try and separate a little with blue. All right, and also the tail needs darker. There we go. I think this is gonna work out. We might want to, I just feel like I want to do this middle cow and then maybe bounce back to working on the background. I feel like the grass is really bothering me. I'm just like, I just want it to look good. But it's hard because like, I know I need to be patient. So use my clean water. Let's use a little bit warmer than actually what's there on the highlight parts of this cow. Because I think I want to exaggerate that a little bit. Okay, for the cow behind, it's a little more red here. Because her coloring, as it goes into the shade, I want to have like a cool purple. So if we can, like purple blue. So we gotta like warm it up so we get some contrast here. A little bit like that. All right, so we have a choice. We don't have to add in the hoof that's here, technically. Because like, who's to say it wasn't like down and then you wouldn't see it from behind? Let's try adding it in a little. And then if we don't like it, maybe we just erase it out. All right, so the foot kind of comes. It's like the ankle. And then we have the hoof. Kind of turn like that. And then this little cow back here, the tan cow, we actually need to see a little bit of highlight there on her face. All right, now let's darken up. I think that's gonna work, guys. I think it's gonna work. We need to, I really shouldn't have chosen a reference that was like so many cows piled up in one space. A little bit of mistake on my part. And then, all right, what leg is doing what? All right, we got like a knee here. Which I think I need to, might have to add some more light back in. I may have added too much of the dark and we need like we'll use the grass color to kind of like negative space paint. I think that's what we're gonna end up doing on that part. Okay, so let's go grab, I'm thinking a little bit of blue, a little more blue. Because we need to darken up under the belly of this cow here. Under here. Zoom out a little bit. And up under her tail. And then the ends of her tail. Skin here meets the leg. I think I'm gonna go darker than I'm thinking it's gonna be, and then we'll just lighten it if we need to. These cows are cool because they have like a bunch of like, I don't know how to describe it other than like really like floppy skin. They're called Brahma cows. And they are so cool. And they don't like moo like a regular cow. They sound like something out of Star Wars. And they have really big ears that kind of like hang lower. It's really cool. Okay, now we're gonna blend this up into here. There. And we need like a gray blue for like here. Now this picture I took a while ago, like right now, I think being like out in the sun is like bleaching her like fur coat. So now like, and also I guess because they shed out in the winter, but she's like almost white. But here she has like, she's like gray with like brownish tones up top. So kind of cool. She's like changing color as the seasons go on. Do 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 do. All right, put that back in there. Reshape that a little bit. All right, that's good blocking in, I think, for now. I do kind of want to make this edge a little sharper, like it is in the reference. Let's see if we can mix up something. Let's add a little bit of green to it, actually. All right, let's see. Well, that seems to be working. We'll leave that warmer section on the bottom. And then it's almost completely like black at that one spot where we can't see because it's so dark in shadow. Let's see if we can define this tail a little bit more. Like that. And then we're gonna turn. He's also kind of like multicolored because there's like warm brown shades on the leg here. I need to figure out how I can like have a small window that shows the reference for you guys. I gotta figure out how to do that. I haven't done too many of these like live painting sessions, so I'm still trying to figure out how I want to stream them. Because I feel like it's interesting to see kind of like what the artist is seeing. Okay, that seems good. This cow, probably good. Add a little shadow in here. I think this all needs darkened a little bit. Let's warm it up a little. Add a little bit of this like cadmium yellow orange shade just as we darken this, because he's like, it's like dark brown, but it's not like too dark. Now his tail comes out here like there. All right, let's stop messing with the cows and start working on, should we work background to foreground maybe? Yeah, let's see what we can do with these trees back here. I think I'm gonna use this brush. I was using this one earlier today. It's kind of giving us a nice texture. All right, so you know what, chat? Here's what we're gonna do. Let's do the grass first, and then that'll kind of help us decide how dark we're allowed to go with the background. And then maybe we'll work on the tree after that. All right, so foreground, I think what we have to do is darken up. We need some darker spots before we can start putting in highlights. That way we can actually see them. Let's get a nice, natural looking dark green, slightly on the cooler side. show you guys what I'm doing. Right now we just have like Crayola green. This is like my cheater green because then I don't have to mix a whole bunch. I can just kind of start with this and then either do it more yellow or more blue. We're gonna do a little bit of both. I'm gonna use this like warmer yellow, and that usually ends up with a more like natural color once we mix it. There's also a little bit of red here on the palette, which I think it'll be nice to tone it down just a little bit. I don't want it to be too unnatural. I'm gonna try, I think we can go darker than that. Let's add a little bit of blue. A little bit more of this. Alright, that's gonna be good for now. Alright, looking at the reference. It's dark in here. I really like this separation that we need to get to kind of help this cow stand out more, so I think we need to put some of those greens in now. We can darken them up again later. Here, I might have to lighten a little bit. Okay, that helped a lot. Okay, cool. Now let's do, it's really like shaded areas under the feet. Again, it's kind of a bad reference because the lighting's actually really, it's very like overcast. There aren't any strong shadows. So trying to like figure out where the shadows are and defining them is gonna be a little bit difficult. So we might just have to use our imagination a little bit to make the lighting a little bit more exciting. Just a little bit. It was about midday, so the sun was pretty much right above us. Let's kind of layer these in. And then let me zoom out. We'll get a little bit under this cow. My grass up here. And then there's like a little patch here that looks darker. There's some darker weeds over here. I think I'm gonna darken a fair amount here in the foreground. But let's add a little more. I'm gonna add a little more of this like cobalt blue that we had in the sky a little bit. So a little more. Yeah, we might lighten it up a little bit. So we're gonna slowly blend these lighter as they come out. I'm still working with the paint pretty thin, so it's kind of working like watercolor at this point. I do think I'll have to be a little bit more aggressive with it as we get further into this painting. Right, let's add a little more warmth to it in some spots. Pretty much the darkest are gonna be in the foreground, and then everything's gonna get slowly lighter as it fades backwards. It's pretty much the plan. At some point I'd like to do a more like just the head of like these cows because they're really cool looking, but I think every time I'm trying to draw them they end up looking a little bit off like proportion wise, so that might be a good study session for us where we kind of like approach it like doing a portrait. I think that might help. All right, just layer this in. A little bit there, lighter. The hill kind of like turns back here and slopes down, but it's subtle. Right now I have a pretty dark shadow, but I think we need to like blend this upwards a bit more. Let me clean my brush. See if I can reactivate some of this paint under here. That seems good. And a little bit here. All right, this doesn't look too bad, guys. I feel like it's coming together. I have a hard part, like, not hard. Whoa. Okay, almost got paint on me. We're good. We're good. All right, let's see, what was I talking about? I have a hard time working on like one painting spot for too long. As you can see, I was supposed to be doing this and somehow I ended up here. I don't know if you guys have that problem too. It's like I have a hard time sticking to one spot. I just keep kind of working until everything like feels right together. Just gonna blend this out a little bit. Make sure we're getting this side too. No, it's actually more shadow area. Let me grab some blues down here because there was some bushes growing around this little tree back here. There we go. I think we're just gonna leave it at that. You know, let's add a little bit of white. I feel like my hoodie keeps like hitting the desk. Okay, there we go. That way you guys aren't hearing like the constant clinking of the, it's like little metal end things on the strings of my hoodie. Is it too soon to go in? It might be too soon to go in with those. We should finish the grass down here. All right, let's mix more paint. All right, chat, is music still sounding good? I'm pretty sure I put it on loop. Yep. Okay, cool. And then I think I did this yellow in here. All right, that should be good. I might have to add more yellow to this. I might be doing this too cool. But I do like the idea of adding kind of like a contrast between the cool yellows and the warm ones. So maybe we start cool and then do our highlights warmer. Probably gonna be the best bet for this scene. Get here under the tail. I have a tendency of leaving like little white patches where like one section meets another, and I'm trying not to do that. It's okay if some of these overlap a bit. All right, this isn't bad. I still have to say it looks a little bit like a child's painting, but we're doing the best we can, guys. However this turns out, it turns out. I did want to give it as a gift, but if it turns out terrible, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna hide this in a drawer somewhere. All right, should we Think about this tree back here. It's kind of bothering me. I feel like I might want to... So, in the reference, the tree goes up and past. I think that's what we need to do, because I was like, I was going to keep it like contained in here, so it didn't go up past like where the paper ends. But it's feeling... I don't know, the tree's like feeling like proportionally off, so I think what we need to do is take it all the way up. So I'm just gonna add some more branches in here. And then we'll work on... I really don't think I should actually do much more to the sky, because we really don't see clouds too much. It's kind of just grayish. All right, now we need to get darker. Let's do a wash over this. I'm almost doing like a purple in the really dark areas, because I want our greens to kind of pop forward once we layer them thicker on top. At least that's what I'm hoping will happen. We shall see. I'm still not really good at blending these gouache paints yet. Kind of comes out like this. It's another little tree down here. All right, that seems good. Now I'm gonna go in and address these trees back here, because they're actually a lot darker. I'm thinking I'm gonna do this green. Let's add a little bit of cobalt. I'm gonna do it pretty colorful. It's a lot of like pine trees, so it's actually like pointier than what I had there. So let's just go through and kind of do this texture. It's gonna be dark at the top, and then I think I'm actually gonna lighten it as it comes down. I think that's how I want to do this. And we can always go back and darken it more. There's like some other types of, I guess it's oak trees and stuff in there as well, but it's mostly like cedar. Cedar and like taller pine trees. I probably made them a bit taller than they are actually in the reference, so we may have to shorten them down a little bit. All right, now what I'm gonna do is add a little more blue, and then we're gonna grab some white. Blend it upwards like that. That seems good. I could technically add in some like more texture to the tree, but I really don't want to do that. I keep it pretty simple. I like that. Oops. Okay, we can fix that later. I put a little too much paint down. Mistakes were made. Oh, they were made. Okay, now for the branches. Still not 100% sure. Let's grab, maybe while we think about that, I'm gonna grab a really big brush, and I just want to do a wash of some yellow over all the grass. I think it'll blend some of the texture that I don't really want, and then also tone it a little nicer. All right, let's see what we can do here. This paper does not do too well with a bunch of washes. Even though it should, it's really thick watercolor paper. So I'm hoping it doesn't lift too much, but enough that I can kind of fix the parts I don't like. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I feel like I'm slowly getting more confident with these. And then I'll come to like a certain part of the painting and I'll just be like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. Okay, that's not terrible. Let's add a little bit more back here. And then a little along the top here. But then we want it to blend into like this cool blue. Because we're trying to get that distance in there. I do think that I made this hill a little too exaggerated. Like it's not that quite of a slope. So let's add a little more. Let's add a little bit more yellow in here. Just blend that upwards. And a wee bit more. All right, that's probably good for now. All right, now we gotta tackle this tree, which I've been avoiding. Now I know I probably shouldn't go in with a tiny brush into details, but I might. Sometimes little details can help. I think what I want to do is mix a dark blue with a little of this like cadmium yellow. Oh, that is really wet still. All right, we gotta keep our hand out of it somehow. Hoping the camera doesn't keep changing focus. Let's kind of just regroup some of these branches here. Trying to like bunch them together to join these. Just kind of like redefining some branch areas. A bit like that. And then as we layer this, I'm hoping what we'll kind of do is there'll be some background branches, there'll be some more foreground ones. Pull this so you guys can see the top a little bit more. So the very back ones are going to be like this purplish gray we already put in, and then we're kind of establishing some more like mid, I guess you call it like mid value? It's pretty dark still, but kind of like in that range. Before we do our like lighter leaves, and then we're gonna have like our very strong highlight leaves. Just kind of bunch these together. So which blue did I use? I used a little bit of that. You know, I can probably pull this down so you guys can see a little bit of my paints as we do this. I might be able to get a little bit darker in these branches. I think we could also go in with maybe some light blues and hit the edges with it. All right, now we need to work it down into this section here, down by the cows. Definitely didn't just accidentally paint over the cow. We'll fix it later. At least with the gouache, we can do that. You know what's gonna be the problem? If I switch back to watercolors, I'm gonna be so used to being able to like go back to light after painting too dark that I'm gonna really struggle trying to get that balance right again. All right. This looks pretty good. Just gonna do some stray branches out here. And let's add a little warmer green. I'm just gonna touch the edges of only some of the areas, because I don't want to go too crazy. This yellow is also pretty transparent, so I don't have to worry about it taking over too much. But I do think I want to go back in and fix up the like tree line back here. I think I just made it too tall. Like I feel like if we have a little more breathing space between this kind of like bush area and the cows, I think that would be kind of nice. Because that's kind of what we had here in the reference. Like this tree. And then we have little bushes kind of like up around the edges of this tree. Kind of follows the curve of the land there. All right, let's address the sky issue. But we're gonna need more white paint. Let's clean a spot on my palette. I'm thinking, let me move this. Put like a chunk of blue paint. Probably here. Just gonna readdress the sky area section there. This is gonna work for sure. All right, open these. Oh, if we don't cook tomorrow though, guys, where should I put this lid? We might do, I'm sure that won't fall. We might work on some of the silly ducks because I've made a lot of good progress on all the line work, and now we need to work on the color fills. So we could be doing that tomorrow as well. All right, we need, let's add, I'm just gonna use my palette knife. Put some paint here. That's probably a bit excessive. But we're just gonna do it. All right, let's add a little bit, get this blue in here. Just gonna try and get a nice sky blue color. All right, let's go in and do it. We gotta fix this tree and this skyline down here. So it's actually much, much shorter. Thinking more about there. And then it comes actually down here, even shorter than that. We got a little water. To here. And here we can start to add kind of some like holes where the sky peeks through back in to our tree. See how you just kind of do that? So you're kind of just like bouncing back between like, you're almost like using the negative like space painting, like erasing. Like I'm erasing out the tree so you can see the sky behind it. It's pretty much what you're doing. So you can kind of do that, and then you go in, you can add more leaves, and you just kind of like, from what I've learned, you just keep like bouncing back and forth until you get like the shape and kind of like style you want that matches what you're seeing in your reference. So it actually comes down pretty far here. And we're gonna redefine these trees in a bit. But for now, we're just gonna leave them kind of how we did. And a little bit in there. This part is so satisfying. I don't know, it's like one of my favorite things to do. Alright, looking at the reference, guys. I need to lower that just a little. Okay, there we go. Also, I feel like this is giving us a nice blend from like the tree line into the sky, and it's very subtle. And I kind of like that. There's not too much difference between the trees value-wise and the sky. And I feel like that's kind of like the blend I was hoping for like these trees. I don't want you to be thinking about them too much when you look at the painting. I want you guys to be thinking about the cows more so. All right, so I'm just gonna add more water. Let's kind of blend this out as we go upwards. Yeah, I drew the trees in way too high. All right, let's blend this up. Take this off. It's actually kind of pretty much the same weather today as it is in this picture. It was so dreary yesterday. It was so hard to stay awake. It was also really cold. Today's a little bit warmer though. Not bad. Enough where you want like a hoodie, but you're not like too hot, you know? All right, let's add a little more white to that, and then a little more water. Should probably switch to a bigger brush now. Just kind of layer this in a little bit more here. I'm just gonna go back to these trees a little bit. Kind of touch in here. A little more blue. Make these edges look a little bit nicer. Gotta get rid of this too. And here. That's looking so much better. I was really concerned for a minute. I was like, am I gonna be able to get this tree to look right? Gotta trust the process, guys. Trust the process. Oh, just knocked over my phone. The problem is like, when you're new to a medium, you don't really know the process 100%. So we are flying a little blind, but that's all right. Yeah, this is looking good. All right, let's grab a bigger brush. This is taking forever. Make sure we get all the yellow out of that. It would be interesting trying to do a portrait in gouache. And I've done watercolor ones. But I feel like you gotta be careful because when you try and mix a lighter color with the white, it's not the same as when you like glaze over the white paper. So trying to like maintain the nice like lighter shades in skin tone as it blends into like the warmer colors. Like, doesn't matter what skin tone you're doing, you want like it to look like lively, and anytime you mix like a little white paint to like lighten it even just a little, it kind of like grays it out, and then it's not as like lovely of a like transition of like the warm reds and like deep shades that you get in like the undertones. So I just don't know. I feel like it would end up looking really like desaturated, which is like the saddest thing in a portrait because you want it to look really lively. So I don't know. It might be a while before I try that. Might be a long time. You know what we could do to practice though? That'd be lower stress. We could do like maybe some anime art and then try and do skin tones on them. Don't be as like hyper realistic, but we can still practice mixing shades and doing some shading as well with it. Alright, just trying to layer this in here. I'm hoping we'll be able to cover this up, all my mistakes with the tree line back there. I think initially I wanted the tree line to be higher, but I ended up changing the composition a little bit, so that's why it's kind of different. Just a bit. Alright, we gotta be careful we don't go too crazy with this. I think we might need to go back into our... There we go. Get back into working on the cows and the grass a little bit. Okay, that seems, I think that's good for now. Let me just bring this to the edge over here. This works because I think I have the sky too light also. So it's a nice like tone down. Although you know what? I think we went a little too even over here. In the reference, the trees kind of come up here. This one that sticks up there. And it comes back down and then slopes in again some more. Here, and there's like a single tree sticking out. And it kind of fades out like that. That seems better. Okay, chat. We're doing good. We're doing good. Let's get back to... I think we need to darken up this cow here a little bit. So... what I'm thinking we should do... Or should we do the grass? I do think we need to address the grass a little bit. All right, hold up. Chat, we're gonna do the grass first. Since we have some lovely shades already mixed up with the lighter white color. Let me just clean this little section.
We're gonna mix our light greens here. Do 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 do. We're gonna do warmer greens, like a lighter warm green, I think. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Let's make it happen. Whoops. Okay, it's probably a bit much in the yellow, but a little water. I'm gonna add a little of this blue. We're gonna dry more paints. My palette's starting to run low. Alright, so first thing, I think we need to lighten the line up here. Just a little bit. Okay. And second, we need to do... Guys, I think we might need to go darker still before we get too much lighter, actually. Like, maybe in this section, see where we can kind of like start to... We're gonna do something similar to like what we did with the trees, where we're kind of like negative painting in the blades of grass. But we might have to darken it up a little bit so everything kind of shows up as we go. Let's add a little bit more yellow. Try to decide if it's the saturation that's not quite right. That's definitely helping a little. Let's just touch the edges a little, then we're gonna go back in with some darker greens. Let's mix a little more white in here. This got a little bit wet over here. Let's try and pick that up. All right, here we can do a little. And I might switch to my round brush. I don't know. Kind of just break out this edge a little bit. We also need to lighten up this section down here. Fix this edge. All right, now we need to darken it because we're not gonna get anywhere until we get our darks darker. I mean, when you think about it, the reference is actually pretty dark itself. I might need to get new water. This brush is quite saturated. I think I need to be more aggressive with my darks. Let's see if we can be a bit more bold. Because once we layer more midtones in here, you're not going to end up seeing it as much anyway. Kind of what I do after I start layering the grass, there's just going to be like random patches where I see it darker. And then that's why I'm going to start layering in more of the darks. Guten Abend! Hey Gecko! V Gates! So we're just going to layer in some of these darks a little bit stronger. And a little patch here. And then I think we'll go into the midtones. I think I need to do a little bit. Mir geht es gut, danke. Und selbst? Mir geht es gut. Ein bisschen müde. It's really cloudy today. So I'm still having like trouble. I mean, my window looks bright, but it's actually like overcast. Yeah. I forget how to say that in German. Is it like bewölkt or something? How do you say like cloudy? My German's terrible. We're getting there one of these days. But yeah, it's cloudy. I should have gotten another cup of coffee earlier, but I didn't. That painting looks like a calm scene out of Zelda. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Man, that's a compliment. Yeah, I'm hoping that we can kind of like get the values well balanced on this one. I'm still struggling with some of the grass, but we're getting there. Slow but sure. I think I need to use a little bit more of my imagination with the grass. Maybe that's the problem. Like I'm not letting myself. I'm trying to like follow the reference too much. Yes, bewölkt is right. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Gecko. You're like my German teacher. Like sensei. Your German is pretty good. I'm impressed. Thank you. Oh, you know what I was thinking, Gecko? It would be really hard, but like I want to improve my like I guess like pronunciation, you would say. Like I just don't feel that like comfortable like speaking along like a lot of sentences in German. And so I thought, well, why not, to push myself, I could do a whole stream, try and do a whole stream in German. And then like that would really push me to get used to like using, because I feel like every language uses like different muscles in your mouth, and I'm not like super used to like speaking German out loud. So I thought it might be a nice exercise. So that might be in the plans, where I do a whole stream in German. Now I'll warn you, my grammar is really, really bad. Like, it's kind of sad. But I think if I can start, you know, speaking it a little bit more, then I'll be a little bit more motivated to kind of get back into studying grammar more. So I don't know, we might do that. Yes, of course, why not? Sounds like a good idea and a sizable exercise. Yeah, it'll be, I think by the end, I'm gonna be like mentally very exhausted, but it kind of sounds fun. So I want to do it. So we might do that. Tomorrow, I was thinking about doing actually a cooking stream, which I'm hoping like my followers don't mind that it's not necessarily art. I mean, cooking is an art, but I thought it'd be fun to do something a little different. So we could do tomorrow's stream, like the one I do tomorrow. I could cook and then try and speak in German. I'll keep the dictionary pulled up because there's gonna be, I don't know many like cooking words. I've been trying to watch some cooking shows, but I feel like it might be a nice challenge to like force me to, I guess, like learn vocabulary in a way where like maybe it'll stick because like I'll be doing and using the words. I don't know. Cooking stream in German sounds really cool. I'm in for that. Thank you. It'd be great if you could be there, because then when I have probably many questions, you're gonna be able to help me. Like step by step. I'm gonna get there with German. We're getting there. Some days I feel more confident than others. It's almost like every day when you learn languages, it's like some days you wake up and like that side of your brain that uses that language is just like more in gear than the other one. It's weird. I'll be there, no problem. Very much looking forward already. Okay, which means Chat, I cannot back out. I have to do it. I think I'll try to like warm up before I start the stream by like listening to a podcast. Or maybe we'll just dive right in and see what happens. It's gonna be something. It's gonna be either really bad or really good. Das wird sicher gut werden. Danke. Yeah, we're gonna do our best. We are gonna do our best. The problem is like, I've been studying a lot of Japanese lately. So like, I'm finding myself like mixing the two. And so like, I'll think of a word and then I'll be like, wait a minute, that's not the German word, that's the Japanese one. And then all of a sudden like a Spanish word will come into my brain out of nowhere because I'm also learning Spanish. And so I think what I'll do is I'll listen to like a podcast before stream. That way like I'm only thinking in German and I don't have like the other languages floating around in my head. I think, yeah, that's gonna be the play. But it's gonna be fun. I'm hoping I can do it. I want to like fully commit to it. Like, no, if I don't know a word, I have to like, I can like look it up in the dictionary, but I can't talk about the word I don't know in English. I have to explain the word I'm looking for in German. I think that's the goal. Which I think I can do. I think I could do it. Maybe. We're gonna find out tomorrow just how bad my German is. Or maybe just how good. Maybe I don't even realize and I'm better than I think. I feel like my like regular viewers are gonna be very confused if they don't know. They're gonna be like, wait a minute, she speaks German? Like, surprise! And then hopefully like auto subtitles aren't like totally off. I think German and Japanese are two of the more difficult languages to learn, but I think Chinese is even more difficult. Yeah, I feel like with Chinese, the pronunciation is really hard. But it seems like once you like master it, that's such a flex, you know? Someday I want to learn Chinese. One of these days. But I can't tackle too many languages at once. Otherwise, I'll really start to just go crazy. I'm like, I'm not even gonna be able to speak English anymore. Like, my brain's just gonna be cooked. All right, this grass is looking better. It's looking much better. I feel like Japanese is hard, but I actually find that the grammar is easier than German for me. Which may actually be like, part of the word order with Japanese is similar to German. So maybe because I've already learned so much German that it's like helping me a little bit with Japanese. But then like the reading part, like German is much easier to read. But also I think German's harder to pronounce than Japanese. So that there is like that side to it. But I did a lot of like shadowing exercises for a while, and I think that helped my German pronunciation. But there's still some words where like you can definitely hear my American accent. Like there's the German like American accent, like when Americans learn German, is in my opinion one of the worst accents in German. You know what? I don't know if that makes any sense. Like if you have like a accent from another language in German, I feel like the American one sounds so terrible. Does German sound aggressive to you? Because that's a cliche about German language. Okay, so I actually hear that a lot, especially when like other Americans hear I'm like learning German. They like instantly like make jokes from like, I feel like if you've watched, oh, like Indiana Jones, right? They kind of like try to like use German from that. And any of the Hollywood
German does sound really aggressive, but in my opinion, like the German, like real German speakers I see not in like American Hollywood movies and the ones that I hear just like in street interviews, on podcasts and everything, I don't think it sounds aggressive at all. And actually, I think it sounds really like, I don't know, just like, I don't know, not too much different than English. Maybe some like slightly harder sounds, but it's pretty, I feel like it's pretty much like the same level of aggressiveness as like maybe English sounds. I feel like English though has more of like a, I feel like in English, like when we speak, even in like the different like British accent, like even Australian, like I feel like in English we are always like stretching certain words out, and so like if it looked like a like I don't know, if like speaking the language looked like a line, it would be like kind of like curving up and down. And I feel like German's sounds to me more like less curvy, sometimes sharper, but also still a lot of like soft moments to it. And maybe not as like exaggerated. I don't know if that makes any sense. But also keep in mind the people I listen to are like podcasters. And so it's kind of like news reporters where there's like a certain like tone they have. So, you know, everybody has a different way of speaking. That was a really long answer, but I hope that answered your question, Gecko. But personally, I would say no. German does not sound aggressive to my ears, but there is definitely a stereotype here in America where like we think if you don't know the German language, like you don't know anything, you're just like, oh, it's such a like aggressive language. But that's just because of all the like the war movies, I think. And they just have like them like shouting, I don't even know what. Or like it'll be like generals and stuff in the movies. And so it's like, of course, they're yelling orders. Of course German's gonna sound harsh. It's like, it's not a casual conversation. Yeah. I get a little like defensive. I'm like, German's such a beautiful language. It's like any language. Like I think every language has its own charm to it. So I get a little like a little defensive. Like German does not sound like that. I think many find German aggressive because of words like kratzen, Krankenhaus, and so on. Words with orts, or is that like a z? We have that a lot, yes. So I think that's a really good point. Yeah, like Krankenhaus. I feel like people like making jokes about that one. But in my opinion, those words are so fun to say. Like it's such a like pronunciation challenge that I find it like fun. So maybe like that's my like what makes me different. Like how boring would it be if every language sounded the same? That'd be kind of boring. Yeah, I feel like languages are like music. And each language is like an instrument. And like there's different sounds and tones for each one. And like not one instrument can do everything. And so that's why you need all the different instruments to make like a full orchestra. I don't know. That's my take. I think we need to darken. What's the reference got going here? Language being like music is a very good point, and I agree. Oh yeah, no, I feel like maybe I think my brother was, I think he kind of made me think of it that way, because like he's a composer. And I don't know, we were talking about music or something. And it was just kind of like, it came about that we were talking about. I feel like language really is kind of like musical in a sense, like even the way we like speak. So it's very interesting. All right, I feel like this tree needs a little help up here. It's coming together though. Like it looked a little rough at the beginning of stream, but I think we're
It's actually working, chat. I had a lot of doubts on this one. I don't know if we're gonna finish it in a day. Okay, there we go. There are a lot of like, I like watching C-dramas, like Chinese dramas, and there's a lot of like ballads that usually play in the dramas. And those like songs have like single-handedly made me want to learn Chinese. Like they are absolutely beautiful. So I definitely want to learn that at some point. But I also want to learn Thai. I feel like Thai has a really fun, just like overall like tone to it, and like the certain words and pronunciations. Like I just think it's really pretty. Also the writing's really pretty for Thai. Chinese would be so cool to learn. Yeah, I'm trying to get my brother to learn it, and I think he's going to. He's like he started doing it on Duolingo, but we'll see how far he goes. But I'm hoping, like I'm not ready to pick up another language at this point, but if he could get fairly far along in learning that language, then, you know, I might have someone who can help me when I start. So I'm hoping he sticks with it. He's able to. But he taught himself like Russian, so I think he'll be good. He seems to be good at learning challenging things. So, like, I just gotta wait. In the meantime, I'm gonna try and get my German improved, learn more Spanish, and then Japanese as well. And then hopefully I'll be like far enough along in those languages to pick up a fourth one. That's the plan anyway. All right, this tree's looking good. I think I made some of these like open sky spots too big though. All right, chat, do we need to do... I think we gotta work on this cow. She's too bright. She is lighter colored than the other cows, but not quite that light. Okay, but we need to make sure she doesn't completely disappear into the background. So I do think we need to grab a little bit more dark here, because this part is really, really dark, where this side of the cow is in front of the other one. I'll just add a little bit of red to that. Are any of your friends learning to speak German too, so that you can practice conversation? Unfortunately, no. So when I started learning German, it was in high school, and so I was homeschooled, and my mom had learned some German when she was in high school. So she was like, we had to learn a language for school, and we tried Spanish for a little while, but it was really hard for my mom to like teach us and try and learn at the same time. So we ended up going with German because she had more experience in that. And so that's why I started learning German, but I don't have any friends who speak it. And it was like me, my mom, and my brother who were doing it. And Joe, he's the one who speaks Russian now and will possibly learn not Japanese, Chinese. And so he did it for a while, and he got to probably like A2 level with me. And then he kind of like dropped off after he finished high school, didn't really want to study that much more. But I kept going with it after I graduated, just because I really liked the way it sounded, and I found like YouTube channels I really liked. So I wanted to keep up with those people, so that's why I kept learning German. But I don't actually have anyone I can speak German with. I've tried getting my mom to get back into it, but I have not had any success with it. So maybe if I do some streams in German, That might be a nice way to kind of like have a reason to keep improving. It's definitely hard staying motivated. That's the tough part. How's that look, guys? All right, I think we do need to fix, oh yeah, I made that way too. We gotta fix the back here a little bit. I ruined it just a wee bit. All right, let's do a warmer like brown, dark brown, maybe like this. And the back slopes down. And then it helps up here. And then the neck comes down like that. And then we get a little bit of highlight as the belly turns here. Make sure you guys can see this. Russian is interesting too. I really like the oh wait, I know how to pronounce this. I've heard Joe say it. Cyrillic? No. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I know what you're talking about. The writing, the alphabet. Yeah, I think the writing's really cool. I feel like I've heard Joe talk about how to pronounce that, but now I can't remember. See, does the C make an S sound, or is it Cyrillic? No, I think it's a S sound. Cyrillic? Guys, my Russian's terrible. Yeah, the only thing I've learned from him was like, so far I've picked up swear words, which is not good. But jokingly, I would never use them. But jokingly, I've learned them. That's kind of like where my Korean's at. I only know like swear words from the crime dramas I watch. I'm like, well, that's not that useful. At some point, I need to actually properly study. Yeah, but Russian's grammar, oh my gosh, is so hard. I'm like, I don't think I could ever learn. He's like, no, it's not that bad. I'm like, no, you're in denial. It's crazy. I think I reached my limit with German. Like, German's grammar is hard. Like, I'll struggle. Right. I feel like we need to... Oh, you know what, guys? I need to make this cow a little bit taller. Just a little bit. And I might have to make the other cow maybe a little bit shorter. Didn't quite get the proportions right. And then this leg's behind this one. Oh my gosh, this is getting hard. All right, we're gonna warm up the colors a little as we do. You know what, we're gonna leave maybe... Chat, I'm so unsure about what I want to do here. A little lighter. Slightly darker. As we blend these. Then this leg comes down like that. And this one. I think I need to add more brown back into the upper part of the tail. I feel like this tail of the other cow is not blending quite nice as I wanted it to. Okay, let's see here. I think I need to rub out a little bit because like the tailbone kind of like sticks up a little. And then kind of curves around here. Tail's actually thinner than what I have drawn. And then I think we need to get a dark blue. Although it's almost like grayish. Let's get a gray tone down here. There we go. That's what we needed. And a touch on the tail. And then there's a little bit up here. And a little bit more on the shoulder. That feels blended better. Okay, cool. It's working. Ein schönes Bild. Danke. I didn't need to be able to say more than danke, but that's where my brain's at right now. Yeah, I needed to warm up. Cause the other day I was like eating lunch and I was listening to the Easy German podcast, and I was like playing it out loud, and my sister's one dog, like she noticed like that the language that it was hearing was like not English, I guess. Like he's smart enough, he could figure that out. And so he came like over to me and he like sits and he's staring at me. And so I kind of like started like speaking to him in German, and he's like, he starts wagging his tail and he was so confused. And I was like, man, this dog is so smart. He can tell the difference between languages. It was really funny. I was like, did not know that was a skill this dog had, but apparently he's smarter than he looks. He's a good dog. He's like I think he's like some type of border collie mix. Yeah, that poor dog. He thought something was off. Yeah, he was very confused. It was funny though. It was really interesting seeing his reaction. I heard that like elephants can hear the difference between like languages, but I didn't know about dogs. So maybe he's like the first one, or I don't know if they've invested much in studying that, but pretty cool. All right, we have a little light spot here we need to fix. I do think I might need to make this cow, this baby cow here in the front, still darker yet. Because I really needed to stand forward here. Let's try and get this leg right. A little bit better. Right now, try and get this silhouette accurate. Yeah, it could be I'm just worrying too much about having everything perfect. As long as we're like, we can see it's a cow. It's really all right if it's not 100% on point. Feet there in the grass. Okay, that seems good. Now this cow back here, we need more blue. Needs to be much darker. Let's add a touch. Do I want to add a little bit of green? Blend it in a little bit. What time are we, guys? 4? I'll go a little bit longer. I'm hoping, I'm not actually sure, like this new mic setup, like how long the battery will last in it. I have doubts it'll last more than 2 hours. I could be wrong. Slightly darker here. Kind of trying to use the paint a little bit thicker now. Do you have a favorite German word or a word that you think is weird or funny? Shoot, that's a good question. I feel like I used to have a list, but I think that notebook is back home because I'm out visiting my sister. I had like a notebook with a list of like words that I either like had just learned or I really liked that I thought like sounded fun to say. I usually like saying like ausgezeichnet. I like that. I think that's fun to say. What else do I like to say? Shoot. Man, nothing comes to mind. Maybe tomorrow while we're doing some cooking, I'm gonna like remember a lot of the words. I'm hoping things will come back to me. So I might be able to be able to answer that question a bit more better tomorrow. Yeah, but I feel like yeah, ausgezeichnet, yep. I like that one. I taught my brother, so every time we hang up on the phone, I taught him Auf Wiederhören, so he knows that one now. So it's funny how like I've been able to like get other people to like, I just started saying it and then people just kind of pick up on it. Oh, and then I taught also I taught my brother like Spaziergang, like to go on like a walk, like spazieren gehen. And so he just says like, oh, you want to go on a Spaziergang? Like his pronunciation is usually like Spaziergang, but I've got him saying it. It's pretty funny. So that, I feel like I like the way like Spazieren sounds. That's fun to say. I feel like any of like the S sounds are kind of fun. What other ones are fun to say? Maybe they're coming back to me sooner than I thought. I'm trying to think of ones I use frequently, like throughout the day. Let me think. Let's see. Auf Wiederhören und Spaziergang. Very cool. Yep. I know there's more. I just can't think of them right now. But there's definitely more. Probably more fun ones too. I like the German tongue twisters. I was trying one the other day when I was trying my sister. The one, how's it go? It's like Fischer Fritz fischt frisches Fisch. Frisches Fisch fischt Fischer Fritz. That one's fun to say, but hard. Like the F sounds and then like with the R in it. I don't know. I struggle with that one. So I like the tongue twisters, or like, because they call them like Zungenbrecher, something like that, like a tongue breaker. I love tongue twisters. I like them even in English. I like that kind of stuff. I feel like it's a fun challenge. I know there's other ones. I can't remember the other ones I knew. How did they go? That's one that I know the best. Probably because it's like easiest for me to remember, because a lot of those words sounding like similar to the English ones. Like Fisher, like pretty much sounds the same. We got a little tree here. Yes, I think it goes Fisches, Fritz, Fischt, Frische, Fische. Oh, there we go. Even for me, that's not easy to say quickly. Yeah. Those tongue twisters are like one of the honestly very entertaining to do, but really hard to do well. I'm like, I need to probably like practice them every day. And then I think my pronunciation would probably improve a lot. So I could build better like muscle memory. All right, we got that little tree back there. Maybe I should have made him darker. Maybe we'll do, is it too soon for highlights? It might be a little. I'm just gonna touch some of the edges. We might want to put this painting down for the day soon, because I feel like if you go too far in one day, there's a lot of mistakes you don't see until you step away from it. There we go. I'm trying to think, like, what's the English tongue twisters now? I think the only one I know is like she sells, oh my word, she sells seashells by the seashore. That one, which I can do if I focus. But I feel like there's more. I should just Google it. We should Google some English and German tongue twisters and try to do them. Maybe tomorrow. Like, have some prepared as my like warm-up session before we start cooking. I gotta like warm up my vocabulary for cooking, because I do not know a lot of like cooking vocabulary. That's probably gonna be one of the hardest parts. Oh, I think I want to add more like medium zone type greens up in here, back in. It's kind of looking like it might rain. I hope it doesn't. It rained a lot yesterday. What time will your stream start tomorrow? I think I might start later. So I think I might start, I don't know, hold up, let me think what time I want to start. I'm trying to think how long I'll even stream. It'll probably take a while, probably at least 2 hours I'll stream. Maybe like an hour or two later than I started today. Maybe just an hour later. It'll be somewhere in that zone. I'm like babysitting my sister's animals. So I kind of like, my schedule's a little bit like delayed than like normal. So even today I started streaming a little bit later. But I'm thinking it'll be, what am I, Central Time now? I'm somewhere in the Midwest, so I think I'm Central Time. So I guess long answer, I'll probably start an hour later than normal. Okay, that's perfect for my schedule. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm gonna be counting on you, Gecko, to help me. Now, granted, my grammar will be really bad. I'm gonna warn you. Like, it'll be so bad that like don't feel like you have to like correct everything I say, because you'll probably spend the whole time in chat correcting like the endings of like ein, eine, einen. Like, I get those all mixed up a lot of times. But it, you know, it'll be, the most important thing is that I'm practicing speaking it. But we'll get there. Ach was, du kriegst das schön hin. Oh, hoffentlich. I have doubts. I have doubts that I'm gonna be able to do too good. I feel like, well, you know, maybe if I warm up, it won't be that bad. But I feel like my grammar has always been my weak spot. But there's like I kind of have like, I try to memorize like certain sentences and chunks so that I remember like these verbs use like dative, or these verbs use like accusative. But there's like some sentences that I don't really like have too memorized. And then that's where you see my terrible grammar. All right, I'm gonna add these branches back in a little bit. I think this is getting there. We definitely actually have to work on darkening this a little bit. It looks a little bit lighter on the camera than it does in real life. Let's layer a little bit back on these trees before we finish stream. I just want to add while I have the paint out, because we were fixing that tree line and it didn't quite get hidden when we fixed it. That's a difficult thing in German. English only has German has der, die, das, and it's difficult to figure out which one to use. Yeah, and like, so I struggle, like if I forget the gender of a noun, that is one of the worst things. Because then if you don't know the gender, you can't even begin to try and, like, it doesn't even matter if you know like which like tense or case it's supposed to go in. Yeah, it's a struggle. I remember when we started learning, so first we tried Spanish, right? And so I didn't know anything about like other languages. And like I don't know if it's the same in Germany, but like, I mean, it's probably different because I know a lot of Germans already speak English or like other languages, like other European languages. But like here in the US, it's not very common to know another language, and like you have to learn usually one in high school, but like I wasn't even in high school yet. So I had like absolutely no experience with language. I didn't know anyone who really spoke any other languages except for my one aunt who was learning French, but she never really like spoke too much about it. So like the concept that there were different ways to say the, like, totally blew my mind. And I'll never forget like how that was just like, what? There's more than like, and then like learning that there's like genders, like, cause Spanish has genders too. They only have 2 though, which is great. But it was just like, it blew my little mind. I was like, what do you mean there's more than one way to say the or a? I was like, yeah. And that lives like rent free in my brain. I still like think of that frequently. Like my first, like the very first days of me like learning languages. Oh my gosh, I knocked over my pencils again. The reference will not stay up. Yeah, I still laugh at that now. Like back when life was simpler. It kind of reminds me of in The Incredibles, where the one kid's like, he needs like help with math or something, and then the dad's trying to help, and he can't figure it out, and he's like, math is math. And like I was in like the mindset where I was like, the is the, there's only like one. It's like, I imagine that's probably like where every English speaker gets when they pick up a language that has like the different genders, and they're just like, what is this? It's pretty funny. Okay, we're gonna add a little more blue. I'm just gonna add I added a little more white paint. Okay, it's getting a little, I don't know, guys. Did I make a mistake? It's almost too, it's not coming on white enough. I need it lighter. Maybe I need to blend it upwards. Yeah, let's blend it up a little bit. Now, chat, if you haven't noticed, I love talking about language learning. It's like one of my, it's probably like my biggest hobby. Because I wouldn't really call, like, I exercise, but I wouldn't call that a hobby. It's more like I just do it because I have to. But like language learning, like I genuinely love it. Like I think if I wasn't an artist, I may have pursued like being a language teacher. I don't know what language. Probably not English, because I don't really like English, and I'm still really angry at English's like spelling. So I think I would choose another language. But I think that's probably what I would be doing. And I really like, I mean, I want to be able to like teach art at some point. So I do like teaching. I just feel like there's a lot of things I learned while like learning how to learn a language that I wish somebody had told me in the beginning, and just kind of like not to worry as much. And also the fact that like you don't have to be like the world's smartest person to learn another language. You just need to be consistent and patient with yourself, you know? That's a very good hobby because at the same time you educate yourself. Yeah, it's like a win-win. At least that's the way I look at it. And it's also nice because like I could get a teacher, but it's also like something that like I can do on my own time as well. So it's kind of nice that like I can just do it whenever I want. And it doesn't require me to have anything physically. Like as long as I have like my phone, then, or like my computer, then I can pretty much study, which is nice. Because like with art, I have to have my supplies or my tablet. And then like exercising, you need to have like the space for it. So it's kind of nice. It's like a good hobby to have. Because it's really one you just have in your head. Okay, I feel like that helped a little. Oh, I see streams lagging a little. Hoping my internet doesn't cut out. Sorry about that, guys. It's not too windy. Sometimes when it's windy, the like internet's worse. But that really can't be the excuse today. There's really not much of a breeze at all. So I don't know what the internet's doing. Okay. Chat, do we call it on this one? I think so. I want to work a little bit on the children's book before the end of the day. So I'm going to probably go do that. But I feel like we did pretty good with this. We're definitely not done. We will be back with this. But for today, I think this is all I've got in me for this painting. Es sieht wirklich toll aus. Gefällt mir sehr gut. Danke, Gecko. Danke sehr. Yeah, tomorrow though, we're cooking, kochen und Deutsch sprechen. Zusammen. Auf Stream. And hopefully, wait, can I say this in German? Hoffentlich etwas köstlich kochen. Zusammen. We're gonna cook something delicious together, hopefully. I don't know what yet. I'm gonna look for something that's easy to cook. And hopefully it won't require me to do like 4 to 5 hours. Ja, es wird bestimmt lecker. Here's hoping, guys. Here's hoping I don't burn the kitchen down. No, we won't. We won't. I am kind of thinking about, I saw a recipe on Pinterest for like wonton wrappers or spring roll wrappers, and it looked really, really like easy. Not spring roll, egg roll wrappers. So I might make those, and then we'll fill them and cook them and eat them, hopefully. So that's what I'm thinking. Oh my gosh, my paper towel is just like soaking wet. Sounds tasty. Yeah, I think it's gonna be good. I'm hoping the recipe's as easy as it looked. We're gonna find out. All right, well guys, it's been real. Gecko, thank you so much for watching and chatting with me. It's been fun. And I'll be seeing you guys all tomorrow, an hour later than I normally stream. And hopefully we're gonna be cooking and speaking German. But until then, everybody, thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. And like I always say, until next time, guys, keep on creating. Bye, everyone.